What's up, guys? Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me okay. This doesn't need to be so bright. There we go. Alright, so we're doing Alone in the Dark. Again. This time, though, with the right computer.
On my door, a dull brass plate says Private Detective. The few friends I have call me Carnby. The others call me the Reptile. I don't care to think what my banker calls me. These days, I leave my letters unopened. Bills and threats to send in the receivers just ruin my day. When an antique dealer called Gloria Allen contacted me, I slipped into my best shirt, holstered my .38, and got to her shop as fast as I could. I was expecting something sordid. Blackmail, probably. Boy, was I wrong. What I was asked to do was visit a property called Derceto and find a piano in the loft. It was an old piano with secret drawers. The kind people who buy stuff in antique stores go crazy over. The Derceto house is supposed to be piled high with classy junk. Furniture, books, paintings. It looked like whoever owned Derceto was about to get cleaned out. I was going to bring up the subject of money when Gloria Allen handed me $150 and a key. I kept myself from grinning at the thought of my banker's surprise. He doesn't like his victims getting away. I looked over a copy of the police report. The former owner of Derceto, a guy called J. Hartwood, had hanged himself in the loft. The coroner concluded it was a clear-cut case of suicide. I promised Gloria Allen I'd give the place a look over. My report will be ready in a couple of days. I've been reading up on the history of the old house. It's the kind of place ghosts run away from in terror. Grisly murders, curses, lunacy. Luckily, devil worship makes me smile, so this is my idea of a paid vacation.
Alright, after that super long intro, we have to quickly block off the window. Because one of the weird creatures jumps in otherwise. Then we have to block off this door right there with the chest. I think a zombie gets in. There's a book over here.
Fragment of the Myth of the Golden Fleece. Translation Edouard de Villeban. Hesperides Publications.
Then Perseus came across Ichthys, who had been turned into stone. He spoke to his companions and said, "Beware of the Medusa. He who looks into their eyes is doomed to the same fate as that which befell poor Ichthys, and will never more set eyes on Seriphos." "Must we go blindfolded?" asked Eumolpus. "Take up your bronze shields and polish them until they flash in the sun," answered Perseus. "Fill your hearts with courage. May Artemis guide us as though we were an arrow from her quiver." But Eumolpus was not satisfied. "Why do that, Perseus? Is 3 inches of sharpened metal not enough to destroy these accursed creatures?" Then Perseus drew his sword, which shone and glittered in the sun, and with it he dazzled Eumolpus. "Now what can you see?" the companions of Zeus' sons laughed. "Let us set to work, so that our shields may shine like mirrors."
We could drop this book now. Don't really even need to keep books around. That's the creature trying to get in. Ooh. A rifle. This is the piano in question we were here to look at. There's nothing there, but if we look behind it... A letter. See? Right under the chest, there's something there. If you don't block those off, they get in, and you will have to kill them. Which isn't easy.
They are coming! I have freed hellish forces, and now the price must be paid. Derceto is the prey of evil. The sun has set. They will find my body, but will not have my soul. I can imagine the master's fury and the terror in the hearts of his slaves. I hear their footsteps. Some may understand what I have done. May God forgive me. Farewell, Jeremy Hartwood.
Drop his letter now. Let's check this drawer. This dresser. An old Indian cover. Take the oil lamp. Yeah, it's interesting Carnby has a mustache in this version, because in the second game he doesn't. So he must have shaved it. Now, I've played only one other version, the 3DO version, and that's what I played more. But I don't remember it having narration in the documents. I might be wrong, but I don't remember it having voices. So we take that oil can, do is use that oil can to fill up our oil lamp, and then we can drop this. We don't need that oil can. I've heard they made this game, like a reimagining, but it didn't do very well. I haven't seen it. Honestly, I didn't even know it came out already. I thought it hadn't come out yet. Alright, so let's inspect this room. Inside the desk is a key. Check here. I don't think there's anything. Nope. The key goes over to this chest. Get a saber. That's not, you can use it as a weapon, but you don't want to. It's not meant to be used as a weapon. It's meant to be used as a key later on. Ooh. Here you go. What do I have for health? Scoundrel. Here comes another one. You don't want to go too far into the hallway. There we go. Go back into search mode. Let me search this desk. No. Alright, let's get this rifle out. Hope it comes through that window. That's funny because usually when I kill that thing it takes only 2 shots. This time it took 3. Throw the vase. No, don't take the broken vase, take the key. Because you gotta use the key. No. To get these mirrors. No. That's one problem about this game. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. Okay. How many of you guys have played this game before? You've maybe found the controls too cumbersome, or you found them just right? They're too cumbersome in my opinion. I hate the controls in this game. Honestly, it's even worse with the controller, believe it or not. The 3DO version is way harder in my opinion. Alright, so what we can do is open this case. Inside's a flask. A flask is how you heal yourself. There's also food, but you don't find much in the way of food. You don't really find much healing items in the first place, so you have to be really careful in this game. You can get killed very fast. There's a lot of instant deaths, cheap instant deaths, by the way. And, now you can drop it. And the enemies, as you've seen before, they can attack you pretty fast. Once they knock you back, if they keep going at you like the zombies do, you're basically fucked. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes you can get them with a quick punch. Like that. If they get close, you can do that. But if they're at a distance, your kick is your best weapon. Alright, these demon creatures are very dangerous. Alright, get close to the statue. Grab a mirror. Hit drop/put. And then watch out. And then go across the hall. We're on the... Technically, this is the third floor landing, but... Now put the other mirror down. Shit. What's he doing? There we go. I love that scream. You don't need those mirrors again, though. Is that Jeremy Hartwood? Look out for this suit of armor. You don't want anything to do with him. Alright, so it's hard to see, but in the center of the screen, sitting in that chase lounger is a ghost. It looks like ectoplasm. If you touch it, you'll die. So we could use this box of cartridges to fill our rifle. Alright. Oh, we could drop that key. We don't need that. We do need to get around this thing, though, and grab the gramophone. That's for way later. Fire poker, matchbox. What's the poker for? If you're wondering to run, you double tap up. Up is double. Sometimes it doesn't work. It depends on the keyboard, too. Sometimes you have to triple tap. Enter this hallway, go through the first door. Alright, so as soon as you take this notebook on the mantle, one of those creatures comes in. These ones are the worst. See? What the fuck was that? Yeah, I might as well start over. There's nothing I can do. You don't get much ammo, by the way. Skip all this opening shit. Alright. Try and rush this along a little faster. It's not like Resident Evil where it's like you'll find herbs eventually or more shotgun shells. I'm pretty sure that's it for the rifle, shotgun. That's all you get. So like this game is filled with a lot of like times where you could screw yourself very easily without realizing it. Like, if you get hit by those demons that we killed with the mirrors, if you're holding the mirrors, which you are once you pick them up, if you get hit by those demons, only them, those mirrors get smashed and you're fucked. And if you lose both mirrors, you can't get past those demons. So. Alright, let's go around this. Sharp issues. I usually forget this thing. The Indian blanket. Get the lamp. You can only hold like so few items. I think it's 20.
But Emalopes was not.
Alright, we already heard this. Just drop that. Now we can leave. You actually technically don't even need the bow. As I found out last time I played through this game, you can actually just throw the arrows and they'll hit the Native American drawing, the Indian, whatever. Come on. Key. Ah. Yeah, jeez, come on. It seems like I can't make it out of that no matter what without taking 3 hits. There we go. Took 2 shots, but I still only hit him. I mean, I still shot 3 times, so doesn't really help. There we go. Take the key. Take the 2 small mirrors. If you run down the middle of the hallway, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, you can see right there that the floor breaks and you die. In case you're wondering, enter button goes into your inventory. Escape can escape. Escape is to pause and to save, like right there. We'll 3rd floor bathroom. And space bars to do your actions. Searching. It's really just like 2 buttons. That's basically all you need. So first we'll open this case, take the flask, drink it.
Wow.
Drop these. Funny, he made it across the... basically made it all the way across before the camera changed. I'll be right back. Should have drank one of those sooner. Don't need that. Take that. Wow, really? This game is so strange sometimes in that it doesn't change the camera angles when it should. I don't get it. Go for that guy again. Nice! Haha! Uh-oh. Oof, almost. You gotta make a run for it, because you can't kill that thing. Take the water jug. And he can reach you from anywhere. I mean, he can reach you anywhere in that bathroom. Yes. Yeah! Alright. What I'll do is I'll open this. And then I'll just drop this. You can keep it. Alright. So, when a room is pitch black, you have to have either the lighter or the matchbox. There's 2 matchboxes in the game. And the oil lamp with oil in it. And it does run out. So I'll show you. Right there. So that's not seconds, but it's pretty close. You gotta find a place to set it down. So that way you can search. So, nothing important. You need that statue and that book. I think there's something in this bed table, right? Yep. Some bullets for a gun. Alright. Alright, so this is a tricky room. For the longest time, I didn't know what to do with it. But what you're supposed to do is cover up the painting right here with the Indian blanket. There we go. And down at the other end. Excuse me, all the way at the end where you can see a little bit of yellow. That's an Indian painting, a painting of an Indian, and if you get too close to it, arrows start shooting out of its like mouth, and they hit you. You can't get away from them. I mean, you can run, but eventually it will hit you enough times to kill you. You have to kill it with arrows. You can't shoot it. So what you have to do is find the arrows and either use the bow, or you can throw them. That's what I was talking about earlier. I just threw the arrow and it killed it, so you don't technically need the bow. But we'll try it with the bow. Let's read this book real quick.
A Brightness from Afar by Lord Boleskine, an account of his celebrated voyage to New England, 1824, Alistair Publications,
I actually really like
Cambridge.
these narrated books.
Following a splendid journey, the sunny harbour came into sight. The locals were much impressed with one's arrival in their midst. One had time to sketch several of them and notice signs of degeneracy. Some children showed one their queer hands that would inspire uneasiness. Upon the promise of a few coins, a child is undertaken to reveal to one a most prodigious phenomenon of a natural order. One admits to being skeptical as to the prodigiousness of the marvel, whatever it may be. Indeed, one suspects it to be little more than an evening stroll to some charming wooden hut situated in the forest hereabouts. One will nonetheless go, for it is always well to submit to such local enthusiasms. One admits to being somewhat flabbergasted. The Milky Way shone like the fires of the apocalypse from the inky celestial vault. Certain distant stars, normally invisible to the naked eye, were clearly visible. glittering indeed with a strange intensity. The heavy clouds that had settled above the village had no hold over that place. It would be pointless to offer here the names of the constellations one perceived in utter clarity. Apart from the interminable length of such a list, one might conceivably risk being charged with exaggeration. The cross cast its shadow on the ground. The sea in the distance was dead calm. Tonight, one will return to that spot and draw those stars. Tomorrow night, one will at last see Halley's comet in all its brilliance. The youngster will carry torches, despite one's developed sense of direction. Honed by years of travel, one feels incapable of finding one's way through the dark forest unaided. The drawings will, one is convinced, set light to the souls of men. Such a moon! One lost count of the craters, so sharply was their definition. Loath as one is to seem excessive in one's appraisal, one cannot but feel that the forest clearing is indeed a place outside the common laws of time and space. Surely it is not an hallucination. How strange to consider that idle conversation, some research in the British Museum, and a voyage to this backward village should culminate in so astounding a discovery. It may be that others have noticed the extraordinary nature of that place. How else could one explain the presence of that cross?
Good question. Alright, so we gotta go get some arrows. Alright, that brings us to the first floor. Right inside here. Let's first search this statue. So this is the statue, I believe, of, that goddess that the journal was making reference to, taking a arrow from her quiver. Alright, so let's go back upstairs. You know what? We don't need this book either. Alright, so save it. Okay, let's try it. Nope. There we go. Alright. That's the painting. Oh, you know what? We never read that book, that notebook.
Diary of Jeremy Hartwood.
Makes reference to this room.
September 27th, 1924. I have decided to keep this diary. Too many inexplicable events have taken place recently. Never have dreams so haunted my every waking moment. Perhaps my romantic mind was too dull, and has only now woken up to these new paths and visions. Some, seeing my recent paintings, may question my sanity. I can only ask them, what is sanity? Where does madness begin? September 28th, 1924. The night is pitch black. I am again drenched in sweat. I was wandering in the dunes, among giant standing stones. They were arranged in a circle, and the wind whistled about them. I plunged my hand into the soil and felt that repulsive thing which was trying to catch me. It seized me. I struggled to break free of its loathsome embrace and managed to tear my hand away. It was covered in sticky substance. I was gripping a knife. October 5th, 1924. The stone circle is a pentacle. Derceto's library is filled with books on the occult. I will study those books until I find some explanation for the dreams. The visions that haunt me must be connected to my discoveries. I shall have to undertake a profound exploration of my dreams. December 16th. Dear God, I have found the knife. It was hidden here, and what I have learned fills me with apprehension. It is a sacrificial dagger belonging to some unholy cult. The thought of that blade tearing through human flesh horrifies me, yet I must continue my research. Derceto is a storehouse of treasures. Was my father right, after all? January 23rd. I spend all my days plunged in dusty books. The servants are convinced I am mad. At night, I awaken them with my screams. The dreams are draining what sanity I still have. I have tried staying awake, but in vain. My visions have changed. No doubt the influence of my father's research. February 7th, 1925. The Dark Man, that is what I call him, has revealed his true face to me. He appeared, as usual, near the fireplace, but this time he approached me. His terrible smile will haunt me to my dying day. His breath was ice, and his burning eyes froze me. I could not move. I know, as surely as I have ever known anything, that the face I saw, the face that has turned my nights into hellish torture, is the mask of death. March 10th. My exhaustion is beyond description. The endless reading burns my eyes. It seems that pirates frequented the area. Dr. Herbert insists I keep to my bed. I have moved to another bedroom and sleep much better now. The Dark Man has not gone, however. I know it. He will wait for as long as he must. Unless I, Jeremy Hartwood, can find a way to send him back to whatever hell he comes from. March 11th. My poor knowledge of Greek and Latin is a serious handicap to my reading. I have, nevertheless, made a great step forward. I drew the symbol on the floor. He can no longer go there. I want him to understand that I can do the same thing in my bedroom. I can imagine his rage and frustration. Only last night he found his way back into my dreams. March 13th. The translation will seriously dent what money I have left. I cannot paint. My pictures are clearly the work of a lunatic. The collector Thornhill's embarrassed smile was proof of that. March 29th. He has come back. He found the door to my dreams. I am too weary to attempt any defense. I have no strength left to fight, and he knows it. He considers me dead already. Could I possibly? March 30th. How ironic! The cave my father sought for so many years is here, beneath the house. Wait, the butler discovered a crack in the cellar wall. A breeze blows in through it, icy and repugnant. I am filled with horror at the thought of my father dying in this place. I will carry to my grave the vision of his face contorted in the agony of that fatal heart attack. His body was twisted. He had webbed. His fingernails were torn and bloody from scrabbling at the floor. Dr. Gray concluded that death had been due to a heart attack. It was Waits, who some time later was informed that my poor father had in fact bitten off his tongue and choked on his own blood. March 31st. I explored the caverns in a dream. The dark man came with me. Strangely, I felt almost well. How can I describe what I saw? No. What words are capable of explaining such evil? I realized that my death was of no interest to him. The dark man wants something else. He seeks a body. His avid servants are now free. I am the cause. It is almost funny. A curse is on Derceto. From the foundations to the very rooftop. I can no longer struggle, let alone eradicate the evil that grips the house. The end is very near. I can feel it. I have taken the decision to... May he who finds this diary pray for my soul.
Very demented man. He was very crazy. Poor guy. It's a fake book. Well, let's put his notebook down. We don't want it. The guy's clearly a lunatic.
The Creatures of Night by Hubertus the Bald, translated from Latin by his brother in prayer, Fratre Johann Marcus.
Of monstrosity. You who read me know that night engenders monsters and that night creatures exist. The accursed book of Abdul al-Hazred is clear on this matter. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Unhappy he who knows that book. Unhappy he whose eyes alight upon that foulest of texts. Unhappy he who implores the standing stones, for he will free the powers of darkness. Of the pit. Stagnant waters are like the memory of men. Beneath the surface calm, clawed beasts await and are known to initiates as the deep ones. Awaiting his prey, the deep one seizes him and drags him down to the abyss, where Dagon, the cruel god, swims and reveres him whose name may not be pronounced. Of libraries. Unhappy he who frees the prowler. Unhappy he who meets the prowler erring among the books. He generates the vagabond that comes from other spheres. He believes the vagabond does not exist. He will feel the embrace of death, for in the eyes of the vagabond, books are no more than dreams, stone no more than wind. The vagabond knows how to take the breath of the reckless. of strife. He who speaks does not know, and believes he is able to kill the creatures of the night. Folly. Evil is conjured up by science and secrecy.
Okay.
Of strife.
Let's try that again.
He who speaks does not know, and believes he is able to kill the creatures of the night. Folly. Evil is conjured up by science and secrecy. He who prowls among books will perish by the blade. He
Yeah.
who flies in the dark caverns will scream in fear. He who swims in the depths will evaporate. But he who believes he knows nothing. He who knows says nothing. Of death. There are domains more terrible than death. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Each creature is conjured up and is not dead, but returns to the origins. A monster, a science. Steel kills the vagabond who never dies. Translator's note. Here ends the manuscript of Hubertus, who died in the library of the convent of Teruel in the year of our Lord 1666. Requiescat in pace.
We'll put that down. We don't need that. Have anything else? No. Okay. Very interesting paintings. We'll back out of that one for now. Actually, no. We do have to go in there. Never mind. Let's put this guy down. Gotta be quick, because there is a monster in here that you can't kill. So, let me just do that. There he is. Then search here. There's a mechanism. Use the... Nope, no, no! Oh, fuck, I did it again. Opens up a secret entrance. There we go. That monster can't come in here, by the way. Nothing important. Okay. Alright, so we got to clear out the inventory a bit, so let's drink the flask.
Wow.
Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Don't think we need the bow anymore. Or the arrow. Okay. Now we'll just read.
Juan
It's a
Luis
lot of
Jorge,
books, obviously.
De Biblioteca.
In a library, as you'd
Reflections on
guess.
the power of the verb in certain texts. Archaeos Publications, 1919, Stafford.
Translation does not alter the occult power contained within such forbidden texts. The malevolent energy is in no way diminished. The spell must be cast aloud and clearly, in certain languages or little-known dialects. Maglafar Fatang. The reader will understand that, in the light of these revelations, I would be foolhardy to continue quoting from the text I have before me. If spoken aloud in its entirety, it would surely awaken powerful and malignant forces. I will go further and say that simple reading of some of the more technical passages describing specific practices is in itself a perilous exercise. The ill-prepared reader can easily fall prey to attacks of demented hysteria, not unlike those described in cases of individuals said to be possessed by evil spirits. I recommend the study made by Zemf, Urbain, Grandier, and Loudon, and the reports made by the Reverend Richard Price concerning a number of astonishing, to say the least, exorcisms carried out in a parish near Providence. Given what I have written, we must be grateful to the librarians of the British Museum, who have never allowed consultation of the work of Al-Azif's startling work, the infamous Necronomicon. Copies of that work do exist, in spite of the zeal of book-burning inquisitors. For proof, we need look no further than the British Museum, of course, and the sealed archives of the Miskatonic University in Arkham. Other examples of books whose evil can be unleashed by any thoughtless reader are von Jutz's von Unersprechlichen Kulten and the abominable De Vermis Mysteries by Ludwig Prien, whose sordid death should be a lesson to all those tempted by a study of the occult.
Alright, so we gotta save it. Oh, wait a minute, we're on the first floor. Oh, wait, no, we're on the second floor. Okay. So, we're on the star, and we're gonna read this book.
Ludwig Prien. Nomine invocatoris si non sanctificatus est cave. De vermis mysteriis non absolvo folem legendum fatum et eum versus. Tibi magnum inominandum signa stellarum nigrarum et
Alright. That's why I saved it. Because I had a feeling it wasn't going to work. Alright. So, we don't need this book. At all. We're going to put it down because it's just going to cause us problems. I read somewhere that you can read that book on that star. And it works, but it doesn't. I've tried it so many times. I can never get it to work. So, let's take that dagger. Oh, wait.
The Sacrificial Dagger, Otto Stern, Lumina Books.
The importance placed on ritual sacrifice is constant in religious cult practice. Propitiating the gods is a theme common to many religions. The Old Testament affords many examples. Primitive polytheistic belief systems integrate sacrifice in their rituals as part of the recurrent process of reaffirmation and, naturally enough, group cohesion. The members of their social and religious community come together in an act of purification and atonement. It would be erroneous to imagine the act of human sacrifice linking priest, offering, and God, C.F. Manzetti, stone cults, as anything less than a vital focusing of the group's faith. The act also ensures the continuing appeasement of the god, but only if practiced by a recognized officiating priest using the appropriate instrument. Studies made concerning primitive religious groups bear witness to the central role of sacrifice in living ritual. My own work in the field of ethnopsychology brought me into contact with a sorcerer living in the region of Arkham. He introduced me to the rite of steel, linked to a ceremony known as adoring the black goat of the woods with 1,000 youngs. The god being adored is known as the vagabond. Here, the dagger's role, which allows the life breath to pass from one dimension to another, is essential. The vagabond is a frightening figure, being able to move where he wants and to kill those who have displeased the goat god, for whom he acts as a go-between. The goat is clearly a fertility god. The priest, having spoken the invocation, must choose the appropriate dagger for the sacrifice. The knife with a sinusoidal blade that must be dipped 7 times on night when the moon is full in water that has been distilled 100 times will be laid aside, since it would send the vagabond back into his own dimension. See illustration. The priest will rather choose the dagger with a curved blade. That is more appropriate for slitting of the lamb's throat. This act transfigures the sorcerer priest and plunges the assembled worshippers into a divine trance.
Back out. Right, let's read this other one.
The Book of Yael, Signs of Stone, Eucharistic Rituals of Forbidden Cults. Texts collated by Monsignor Vacher, legate in the Curia of the Vatican.
Numerous devilish cults speak of monstrous creatures called the Old Ones. These supernatural beings are believed to be possessed of powers equivalent to those of the gods of antique religions. Adepts of such cults refer to forbidden literature in order to cause these frightful entities to appear before them. What serious student of folk myths has not come across the names of Cthulhu and Shub-Niggurath? It must be said that these creatures wield tremendous power and are difficult to control once they have been unleashed into the world. Those who serve He Who Goes in Shadows protect themselves with signs of stone, carved into the walls of houses or engraved on various objects. For those misguided servants of evil, the best protection appears to be that afforded by the sign of the most ancient gods, engraved in Manar stone, a heavy material said to be disagreeable to the touch. The sinful practices of those who fall into such errors can only lead to the darkest of despair, and are a mortal danger to the soul. Such monsters as those invoked by these foolhardy individuals are engendered when reason drops its guard. Man is easily tempted into perversion. It is why we must forever remain alert and renounce Satan with each breath we take. His ways are infinite in number.
treasure. There he is. Perfect.
If Rocks Could Talk, or The Story of a Louisiana Plantation by the Marquise de Chamfray.
After the criminal selling off of Florida by the foul usurper, my father elected to remain in this inhospitable land, where we were free at least to express our royalist feelings, and hope our country would come to its senses. In 1818, a certain Pickford bought up Ledoux's land, after the poor fellow had ruined himself in unfortunate speculation. Pickford soon turned out to be the most loathsome human we had ever encountered. He was an adventurer of the worst kind, nouveau riche, and bloated with a grotesque sense of self-importance. First came the incessant army of men with shovels, digging into the mountain of earth that was to fill in the surrounding swamp. The undertaking was quite stupendous. We learned from a slave that the final objective was to connect the existing caves with another one of gigantic proportions. Racked by a mania of persecution, Elia Pickford constantly fired his workers and hired new ones. He did all he could to keep anyone from learning about his plans. My father was amused and said, "The poor fool will end up getting lost in his own cave." But the walls went up, and tongues started wagging. Our detestable neighbor had been a sailor, a ruffian grown rich on questionable trade. Distasteful stories were told of him. When the work was finished, Pickford invited us to the opening of his rambling mansion, which he named Derceto. My father asked what the strange name meant. Pickford answered, "Derceto reminds me of Astarte, the fertility goddess. Around here, the name is Shub-Niggurath. I believe that a name so steeped in evil should be said aloud came as not such a shock to my father, as he himself confided in me some while later. We left immediately."
In June of 1862, Derceto was burned down in unexplained circumstances. It was undoubtedly the deed of some jealous Yankee or another. It was amazing to watch the servants rushing into the flames to try and save their bullet-riddled master. After that terrible night, Derceto fell into ruin. Its blackened walls were soon overgrown, as human-built works always are, by ever-present nature. In 1875, the property was eventually bought by a gentleman whose name was Howard Hartwood. I was sorry that my father, who delighted in fine conversation, was no longer alive to enjoy the company of this new neighbor. Learned and well-versed in history, he had made a particular study of piracy. It was Hartwood who told me that Pickford had commanded a ship that flew the flag of piracy. That explained the scoundrel's great wealth. Hartwood was fascinated by Pickford and undertook a great deal of research in an attempt to find some treasures that he was convinced the pirate had hidden. He went through the ruins inch by inch. He then had the burnt-out house rebuilt exactly as it had been, and refurbished the library that had miraculously escaped the flames on the night of the Great Fire. Hartwood set about studying every volume in that library, and often talked to me of his research. He was a handsome widower, deeply attached to his son Jeremy, who was later to become a professional artist. Hartwood worked incessantly, first from the room I offered him, then from his own freshly restored home, which he rebaptized Derceto. I imagine he hoped to enlist the help of the god of good fortune in his treasure hunt. As far as I have ever been able to tell, all his searching came to nothing. There were no lost treasures to be found at Derceto. I learned of Artwood's death while I was in Paris. But that, as they say, is another story.
Unfinished chapter of Terra Incognita by Jacob van Ostade. A hitherto unpublished fragment of the manuscript unearthed following indications furnished in the Vatican Library's Expurgatory Index.
In those icy and unwelcoming lands, the rites of wizards and healers are deeply rooted in ancient legend. Mysterious and cruel beings are thought to have ruled over the Arctic plains in times past. A cursed city, enclosed by massive walls, is believed to stand to this day. It contains fabulous treasures and is inhabited by the degenerate descendants of those who instilled centuries of terror in the hearts of the people. These people, naturally placid, are seized with rage and horror at the very mention of the prisoners of the ice. Were these dreadful captives to be freed from their frozen cells, they would reap a horrifying tribute of human flesh. These blood-curdling beings may be invoked by certain ritual words. They can even be controlled, albeit with the greatest of difficulty. I admit to being impressed by these tales, repeated to me on many occasions and in a number of different places during my travels in the region. I have also seen troubling cult objects, sculpted in a material unknown to me. Another remarkable fact is that local Eskimos experience great distaste in pronouncing certain words, and invariably avoid saying them. Here is a living example of the power that words contain. As it is said in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word.
Alright, I think that's all the books. I think there's only 4.
The Sons of the Sun and of the Shadows. Lieutenant Lope de Vega's account of his astounding travels to the land of the Aztecs.
Holy Christ! Cried Captain Cortez, astonished by the strange rite we beheld. We found the savages half naked. They were throwing balls of silver and gold at each other. They laughed as if demented, clearly maddened by some heathen drogue. And yet, should one of them fail to catch the ball thrown in his direction, the poor devil was seized and dragged off to be sacrificed in their temple. As we discovered, this frightful game was a ritual most holy to them, and symbolized the movement of the heavenly bodies. The dropping of a ball foretold a catastrophe. That is what the Aztecs believed, in their godless ignorance. Their countless deities could only be appeased through endless human sacrifices. The victim's heart, which was still beating, lay in the hand of the murderous priest. The interior of the temple was surprisingly cool. The weight of our armor, our exhaustion, even the burden of our suffering, they were all banished by a sense of awe that the crudely magnificent altar instilled. In the tomb-like silence, a deep voice chanted an incantation. The majestic statue of the water goddess, Chalchihuitlicue, seemed to throb with vitality. This massive stone, draped in a golden cloak and studded with precious stones, was coming to life before our very eyes. Horror of horrors! The granite eyes of the statue, empty of life only moments before, were now injected with blood. We staggered back in amazement. Dom Jose was taken by a fit of convulsions. He tried to raise up his crucifix, as if to ward off an attack by demons. The heathen priest laughed cruelly. The statue's mouth cracked open in a deathly grin, bearing teeth sharpened to dagger points. Captain Cortez cried, "Attack!" But it was no use. We were glued to the spot. First, we were unable to move. Our armor seemed to be bolted to the temple floor. Our legs weakened, and we collapsed in a thunder of steel. Only Cortez had the presence of mind to unsheath his dagger. He hurled it at the cackling priest. 4 inches of the finest Toledo steel buried itself in the heathen's face. His blood spurted, splashing the now lifeless idol. We picked ourselves up with difficulty. Never will I forget that terrible moment. My companions, naturally enough, told tales of devilish enchantments cast upon our armor. Whatever the truth of that, I could not deny that the supreme god of the 4th universe had treated us as mere playthings. I am convinced that a terrible energy is yet contained within that heathen statue. A power strong enough to change a proud conquistador into a helpless puppet. Drawing of Chalchihuitlicue by Dom Jose de la Sierra, done before the destruction of the Aztec temple of Tenochtitlan.
Doesn't that look familiar to you? Looks familiar to me. That looks like this. So, what would this statue have to do with conquistadors? Suit of armor? The armor upstairs? Maybe? Let's give it a shot. First, let's back up. Because right here.
Fragments of the Book of Abdul.
In the antique city of dead Relaya, Cthulhu Cthulhu dreams and waits. In the pit of time, the unspeakable lies in wait. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Relia, your blocks of stone seal the ritual that gives birth to fear. Cthulhu Fotang! Cthulhu Fotang! Ayah! Ayah! Let he who knows how to invoke the stones act. It is time. Let the shadow of Cthulhu darken the sky. May the servitor of the black goat of the woods with 1,000 youngs sound his flute in honor of the unspeakable. Cthulhu Fotang! Cthulhu Fotang! Ayah! Ayah! May he who may not be named cast his withering gaze upon the unbeliever, for he is the door, the key, and the guardian of the door, and holds you now in his immense power.
Sorry. Alright, so if you don't read this in the right spot, you will die. Just like the earlier when I read the yellow book, but that's why you stand on the magic star. The yellow book, it doesn't matter, you're gonna die if you read it. Alright, let's get out of here. Actually, no, we don't have to do that. Come on, let's grab our oil lamp. We need that. Ooh, not a lot of time left on that. There we go. Let's first... There we go. Nice. All right. All right, now we can go back down to the first floor. Quite sure why I have all these. In here? Okay. Honestly, I don't think I need the knife either. If I do, I'll come back and get him. More matches. Want that. Let's get rid of this pot of soup first. This room has zombies in it. And they will attack you, so you gotta be careful. There we go. There we go. They all just wanted something to eat. If you try to eat that soup, by the way, which I've tried to, it doesn't do anything. He just says, yuck, human flesh, so that explains why the zombies like it. Alright, so that's all taken care of. What else? Nice. Use your jug on the water. Now you have a water jug. Let's get rid of the oil can. I think we can get rid of the old matchbox since we have a new one. Now we search the coal. Get a box of shoes. Let's open it. Another gun, finally. Get the box back. It's got 6 rounds in it. We should have bullets for it. Alright, now it's got 12. I could have sworn there were more bullets, wasn't there? Maybe not. You know what? I think it's in the basement. Let's see if I can get across. There we go. Technically, this is the kitchen, but... Alright. Quickly, hurry up. Grab the lighter. Then grab your water jug. And use it. Come on. Perfect. Pretty sure that's the only thing you use the water jug for, so I'm gonna leave it. Got a couple keys here we haven't used yet. I forget what doors they're used for. I think one of them's right here. Well, first of all, let's search. It's not what I wanted, but... No. You don't want that record.
Memories by Alistair Boleskine. Printed in London, A. Machin, editor, 1833.
It was during a conversation with G that one first heard of the New England fishing village of Eye. The area was apparently the ideal place from which to witness unusual phenomena in space. The quality of the air, along with the conjunction of several favorable factors, made one impatient to get started. Having gleaned what information one could from the British Museum, one set off with all haste.
Memories by Alistair Boleskine.
No.
One's work on space and comets in particular had met with a warm response, and one thought it judicious to include several original sketches of the phenomenon, sketches which one felt were sure to arouse a great deal of keen interest in the scientific circles of 1834. One refers naturally to the passage of Halley's comet.
Editor's note: Lord Boleskine's memoirs end at this point. Who knows what extraordinary contributions he might still have made had he not succumbed during his visit to New England to dementia, followed by an early death in St. Andrew's Hospital.
That sucks. Poor Boleskine. We could get rid of that book, though. Nope. There we go.
The Tale of Captain J.W. Norton of the Army of the Union.
1862. The South was in collapse. Louisiana was open to us. I had each day to requisition victuals for our troops, and was aided in this endeavor by a score of brave men. Rebels were not yet ready to lay down their arms. The region was far from safe. I headed further and further west, and questioned many freed slaves. From them, I learned of a plantation on the coast. Its name was Derceto. We received a less than hearty welcome. Only Pickford, the owner, behaved in a friendly manner. While my men counted cattle and grain reserves, I learned what I could from him. Man was most unusual and possessed an extraordinarily cultured mind. At nightfall, I gave orders for the men to bivouac at Derceto. Pickford invited my second-in-command, Lieutenant Patterson, and myself to dine. And our host proved a most entertaining conversationalist. While coffee was being served, Patterson went to inspect the men's camp. The cigar Pickford offered me was so acrid that my head began to spin. I remembered campfire tales of fellow officers trapped by devilish Confederate tricks. My mind floated in a foul and dense fog, from which emerged the enlarged and deformed face of Pickford. He grinned at me. Patterson's return chased off the nightmare. I heard shouts and firing from outside and found the strength to take out my revolver. I fired 3 shots. Pickford fell to the floor. Patterson then helped me out of the burning house. The air was filled with smoke. We resembled a company in disorderly retreat. I saw slaves leaping into the flames of that inferno. They were trying to save Pickford's life.
Idiot. Shot the guy for no reason. Alright, so this is where you use that saber. Oh, whoops. Come back. Not quite ready yet. Now we gotta fight this guy. I didn't take a lot of damage that time. This is the Dance of Death, so let me save it. I know I just saved it, but... this one can be quite tricky. Let me make some... don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need the key to Jeremy study. Okay. You gotta avoid these robots, zombie dancers, whatever they are, and get to the key on the mantle as quickly as you can. Oh. Thank God. Alright. I think this door opens, right? No. I think I might need the other key. I don't know. And this is just to the spider room from earlier. Can you kill these things? No. Don't need that. Don't need the gramophone anymore either. Okay. Let me see if I need that key. key. Wait a minute. What the hell is that? Oh, I didn't see that before.
Daemonia Particularis, Signs and Rituals, by Heinrich Cassel, Ring Publications.
The ritual of invocation demands that the officiant be pure. We have already described the complex operations to be followed in order to call those that sleep in superior dimensions. We shall, for the present, limit ourselves to the sign of mutual recognition used amongst their number by adepts of the cult of the Old Ones. The sign also serves as protection when in the presence of a servant of evil. The sign resembles a blessing, save that the first and little fingers are both folded beneath the thumb, whilst the second and third fingers are held up. It would appear that this sign has no effect on adepts of a certain rank, with knowledge of particular secrets contained in the Corpus Demonicus. The use of such signs is not without considerable risk to the user during any attempt to call upon those from without.
Let's leave that book for somebody else to enjoy. By the way, you don't want to try and go out that front door or you get killed. So. Alright, we're looking for... I think it's over here. Yeah. We'll drop it right here. Actually, no, because they can get me. Let's see, it's the key to the cellar. There we go. So you got to avoid the rats, because you can't really kill them, at least I don't know how. There's a wedge over here you can take out and let the barrels roll. You can't get crushed by those, by the way. So you don't want to get crushed. There we go. Lucky. I got very lucky.
The Trial of Captain Preggst, as reported by his faithful companion Elisha Smith, known amongst his fraternity by the awful name of Captain Ellie Hell. Transcribed from the log found aboard the wreck of the frigate Astarte by H. Hartwood.
"By all the devils!" roared Preggst, glaring at William, the judge. "Curse it, Will! It'll take much more than every cannon in the blasted Navy to make me change me mind. You're the greatest blackguard that ever joined our fraternity. Am I not Preggst, captain of the Astarte, and bloodiest villain in all the 7 seas? Bloody Ezek, they call me.
And you think I'll tell you where I hid my treasure? The tribunal of the Corsairs' fraternity murmured at this. Pregst was indeed all he claimed. The judge, One-Eyed William, slammed his fist on the table and silence was restored. "Shut your mouth, Pregst! You didn't pay the fraternity its rightful share, and that means only one thing. You'll hang by the neck from a yardarm, you scurvy cur! Here's the rope twisted by Satan himself." "You threaten me, Will? Many a man better than yourself has lived to regret holding a cutlass in my face. You'll be begging for mercy, mark my words." That shook One-Eyed William, and no mistake. Danny waved his hook in the air and shouted, "Pregst was always a loudmouth. The law says we hang him." The jurors took up the cry, "Hang him!" It was Pregst's turn to slam his fist on the table. He threw back his head and roared with laughter. "You fools! You want to kill what will never die? Try it!" Once more, the assembled Corsairs murmured. There was unease in the air. They remembered what happened to Chuck, the gizzard slitter, the man who opened his mouth once too often. It was night, and a bitter wind whipped the New England coast. Snug inside the Dead Horse Inn, one of the Astartes men was talking. His name was Chuck, and his subject was black magic. He told stories of human sacrifices, voodoo rites, and zombies. He told a tale of a time when their luck was down and they were holed up in a Florida swamp. Pregst went missing. When he returned, he shouted, "'Tis the devil that guides us now, me hearties!" Whether that was true or not, the Astarte began taking loot after juicy loot. The favorite song of the Astartes men, "Crash the Bones," was replaced by a new one. "A skull, go to port saber, to starboard, pass over that will, and with death you'll deal. If you cut a rope, cut the right, I hope, or then, I don't mind, the death you will find." The next day, as you may have guessed, Chuck's body was found with a dagger plunged between his shoulder blades. Chuck's face was fixed in a ghastly grin. Molten lead had been poured down his throat.
Oof.
Whatever way things happened next, and I don't have the details, Pregst was with us again, and we set sail for Florida. We anchored the frigate not far from New Orleans. Taking a few trusted companions with him, Pregst set off into the swamp. They carried large wooden chests with them. 2 days later, we heard shots being fired and screams. Pregst arrived soon after that and claimed they'd been attacked by alligators. He alone managed to escape with his life. He went on to say that the time had come to share out the spoils of our many loots. I was given command of the Astarte, while Pregst handed 3 chests over to the crew. The chests were full of gold and precious gemstones. The rum flowed that night, and the stars shone bright. All at once, I noticed a tall man dressed in black. Pregst introduced him to me. "Here's a hearty mate. You can call him Keith. Many a tale he could tell." Pregst laughed loudly and held up a roll of parchment. "And his hideout, none better." The parchment fell to the ground, partly unrolling. I noticed what seemed to be a map of underground tunnels, a veritable maze of caverns. Pregst continued, "I'm giving up the pirate's life. The Astarte's in your hands now, my lad. She's a fine ship, and my reputation goes with her. Should any man call me coward, then break his head for me. I'm leaving you only because I found a treasure more precious than the purest of gold." teeth spoke to him then. "It is midnight. They are ready, and we must go." The stranger turned his cold eyes on me and said in a soft, chilling voice, "Sometimes Preggst talks too much. Forget what he just said, and maybe you'll live." The fellow's words froze the marrow in my bones, and it was all I could do to mumble, "I'll not breathe a word." The canoe slid away into the night. Their torches disappeared in the distance of the swamp. My snoring companions didn't hear the insidious rhythm of far-off drums.
Wow. Time to get rid of a couple things. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that now that we got the lighter. Don't think we need the daggers anymore. Don't think we need the poker either. What the hell was the poker for? Oh, whatever. I got plenty of room now for... Go. Alright, so that's blocked off now. you don't want that bat to attack you when you're trying to jump, because it will knock you off. Like that. Alright, so... have to redo that again. Got it. Nice. He jumps very far. Don't go to the left, his left, or down for you, because a giant spider comes out of the hole. This one's a bit tricky now. That's my revolver. This is tricky to get across. Damn it. Roar. Damn it. There we go. Shit. Yes. So hard to tell which.
Memoirs of a Lost Soul.
The mask must fall. You who discover this manuscript understand this. I am here at your side.
I am waiting in the darkness of my crypt. Soon you will belong to me. One of my slaves wrote this document. I have lived for 3 centuries, and my name is Ezekiel Prext, or Elijah Pickford. You may choose which to call me. I do not hide out of fear. My power is immense. I have sailed the 7 seas. My ship, the Astarte, spread terror through all the continents. The corsairs judged me like the Welsh judges of 1620, but they could not destroy me, and neither could the pirates. Now, I am immobilized. Damned Yankees! Witchcraft, voodoo, and the Cthulhu cult. I know them all. I have reigned and implored the stones. Only the Chthonian haunts the cavern and resists me, but he dare not attack. I have need of a living body to regenerate myself. The Heartwoods managed to escape from me, but you who are reading these words, you will yield to my embrace. I hear your ragged breath and smell the stench of your fear. I have vanquished death. I built Derceto. I know what it is to wait. Cthulhu helps me. My servants will lay you upon the sacrificial stone. My roar will rend the night. You will be mine, and I shall reign once more. Come to me.
I'm gonna push the stone. I've been stuck at this part before as Carnby or Emily. I can't quite remember how to get to the last bit. Well, it's getting late, so we'll call it a night there. We'll finish up tomorrow. There's not much left, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, depends on how long it takes me to finish this maze. But I'm too tired to have to deal with it tonight, so I will see you guys tomorrow, and thank you for joining.